Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw superstars and wrestling news around the world, along with birthdays. Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, Hulkster. Turned 61 years old on Monday. Longtime manager and referee Bill Alfonso turned 57 years old on Monday. His real name, William Sierra. He was born August 11th, 1957. Wade Bad News Barrett. Got some bad news for you. I turned 34 years old. He was born August the 10th, 1980. His birthday was on this past Sunday. Longtime pro wrestler Savio Vega, real name Juan Rivera, turned 50 years old on Sunday. He was born August the 10th, 1964. Vega has been wrestling in Mexico. Former WWE and WCW wrestler Fred Shockmaster Ottman turned 58 on Sunday. He was born August 10, 1956. He was also wrestled as Tugboat and Typhoon. Former ECW wrestler Roadkill, real name Michael DiPoli, turned 38 on Sunday. He was born August 10, 1976. WWE noted back on the first week of this month that the second episode of WWE Insider would premiere on YouTube with a special look at R-Truth in the recording studio. The episode never came out, and this is the second time that they promised a new episode of the show without delivering. A new show entitled SmackDown Flashback debuts on the WWE Network this week. First episode premieres today and looks at the network premiere of SmackDown on August 26, 1999 with The Rock versus Triple H. And here's a video of John Cena participating in the Caprisan Roaring Waters Kids versus Pros Playground Throwdown. There will also be a WWE Raw Backstage Pass post show on Monday, but it's only scheduled for 10 minutes. And it was have a special on Brock Lesnar versus John Cena scheduled to air. And here's a synopsis of that prelude, Cena to Lesnar for SummerSlam. Cena versus Lesnar, the biggest fight of the summer, provides an in-depth look at the decade-long rivalry between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. A Beyond the Ring special on Brock Lesnar will premiere on the WWE Network this Tuesday after the main event. Former WWE superstar Evan Bourne, real name Matt Seidel, did a live shoot interview with kayfabe commentary this weekend. Replays can be found at this link, and you have to pay for it for $15.99. Bourne was asked if John Cena is a backstage politician, or if that's just another internet accusation. As he replied, "Since you're listening to it here, don't pay the $15.99 or the $9.99 on WWE as they've been advertising. How much is it? $9.99. Or you can buy the pay-per-views for the full price, $39.99, $49.99, $69.99. Well, back to Evan Bourne. I think people say you play politics on your way up. When I got to WWE, Cena was already a top guy, so what politics will be there to play? He's the top guy. Everybody loves him. The fans love him. Everybody backstage loves him. So when he's talking to people, there's no politicking. He's just getting along with everybody. I think there's an agenda to make sure he's the top guy, top buy, but that's because they've invested money in him, and that makes sense. I don't think there's much backstage politicking." The host asked if there's any "keep this guy down so I stay on top" going on, as Bourne replied. "I guess I heard the rumor something happened with Alex Riley. I don't know exactly what it was. I think Cena's known for giving the younger guys a hard time and testing them. He came up working Chris Benoit, and a lot of guys made it tough on young guys coming up. I don't know if he's presenting a challenge to see how guys react or if he's really being a jerk to them." Entertainment Weekly has a new gallery up looking at some of the best and worst wrestler performance in movies. Some of the worst were The Rock in The Tooth Fairy, Stacy Keibler in The Comebacks, Steve Austin in Grown Ups 2, and John Cena in Fred. Fred I haven't seen, and the comebacks I haven't seen. Grown Ups 2, I don't remember seeing Stone Cold in it. Well, and then some of the best were Batista and Guardians of the Galaxy, Hulk Hogan and Rocky 3. Oh yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage and Spider-Man, and Kevin Nash and Magic Mike. Sci-Fi's Haven, featuring WWE Hall of Famer Edge, in a regular role, has been moved back to Thursday nights at 10 p.m. I think that was the original night on the USA Network. So, will they compete with WWE's SmackDown? Well, I can tell you about Haven is been on Sci-Fi. Okay, it previously followed SmackDown on Friday nights. For those who missed it, former WWE star Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, became the new Evolve champion by defeating Chris Hero at this past week's show. Galloway will also be in action in the Monday night's Evolve pay-per-view. After his win on Friday night, Drew cut a promo and said that he has tried to climb a steep mountain, referring to his past few years in WWE, but kept moving forward and reached the top of the mountain with his win. Here's my own. If you didn't know news, well, WWE's rule to thumb is to put the babyface over in the main event anyway, when the card's subject to change, such as, but when it's a substitute for the main attraction babyface that's on the show, the rule is even stronger. When the card's subject to change, this is what happens. Thus, Randy Orton had lost a match, a couple of matches over this past weekend. He was supposed to face Roman Reigns, and whoever replaced him, 1 to 2 matches. August 11th news, Monday news, Joe DeFranco's gym posted the following clip of Triple H performing a 45-inch box jump. And Triple H, he also was on Twitter, at Triple H, had a lofty goal to perform a 45-inch box jump at 45 years old, and he just accomplished it. Hashtag power, hashtag mobility, and of course the video. Apparently there were a lot of wrestlers within WWE who were upset about Alberto Del Rio's recent release. According to news on that, there was a dinner that this happened at, and one of the office employees made a comment about Alberto Del Rio, complaining that he shouldn't have to clean his own table. He referred to Alberto Del Rio himself, mentioning his name as he walks in here. Here's this comment. I think Alberto Del Rio should be cleaning my table, taking my place and throwing it away. And we've noted that Del Rio was cut for allegedly assaulting the WWE social media worker after that employee allegedly made that racist remark about Del Rio. And I would be backing Del Rio. I would have done a lot worse. I would have took him outside, beat him up some more, and then told the officer, this is why I did it. And then if I get fired, the guy should be fired as well. Not only discrimination, you got slander along with that. That WWE worker is still employed with the company, but word is that he could be finding himself out of a job like Del Rio soon. Del Rio's slap to the man was described as a heavy shot, something similar to the infamous slap wrestler David Schultz gave to 2020 reporter John Stossel back in 1984. Another source has confirmed that Del Rio has been talking about being unhappy in WWE for over a year, and I think he made his frustration apparent on last week's Raw in his promo. He has a lot of money and won't be hurting for work. It was said that he's probably happier now than he was with WWE. There are already rumors that he's already making appearances and wrestling in Mexico already, as he's reuniting with Ricardo Rodriguez in another promotion, perhaps AAA promotion in the Indies. And that AAA announcer Arturo Rivera tweeted this on Monday afternoon that former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio will be appearing at AAA's Triple Mania 12 this coming Sunday, which also is head-to-head with SummerSlam and airs on iPay-per-view. And I'll keep you updated on the news as it comes in. It's been reported that the WWE employee that Alberto Del Rio slapped, his name is Cody Barbieri, on LinkedIn and Twitter. Barbieri identifies himself as WWE's manager of social media live events. According to a new report, WWE social media manager was supposedly asked to wipe his plate clean following a meal in catering. He allegedly joked it was Del Rio's job to clean the plate. It's not a joke when you talk about somebody right there in front of you, which could be perceived as a racist Hispanic by Hispanic people. Del Rio was informed of the comment and confronted him. The individual did not apologize for his remark and then smiled at him, fuming Del Rio's slapping him. That was the irate I would have been. As noted, WWE posted the following on Twitter about the incident, which is another slander remark, according in my eyes. At Viva Del Rio is responsible for his own actions. If you're angry at someone, be angry at Alberto Del Rio. He's talking to the fans. There's no excuse for a pro athlete not to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Unquote. Okay, that was done by WWE. They should have said the same thing about the WWE social media network employee. Triple H also retweeted that comment, so Triple H should be reprimanded and sued as well. Tonight's Raw will be the last show on the current company's logo, as the new logo officially debuts next Monday. Tonight's Raw will be also seeing John Cena debut a new red and yellow gear that was posted over the weekend. JR's latest Fox Sports column looks at John Cena being polarized figure because of WWE's failure to build around him. The new TMNT movie dominated the box office this weekend, leaving Guardians of the Galaxy with Batista at number 2. Guardians was estimated at doing $41.53 million, bringing in the domestic total of $176 million. The Rock's Hercules finished number 7 at $5.7 million, bringing that domestic total for the movie to more than $63 million. Speaking of The Rock's mother, The Rock, his mother was in an automobile accident. Ata Johnson and his cousin, NXT diva Lena Fanine, were hit head-on by a drunk driver this past Monday. The accident actually took place, according to one report, that said it happened on Monday. Well, this actually took place on August 1st. According to F4W Online, Ata and Lena were in Orlando for the annual Usos Foundation fundraising event, and after going to a local restaurant, a drunk woman with a suspended license was running from the police when she crossed a median at high speeds and collided with the Cadillac SUV that Ata and Lena were in. Lena underwent surgery for a broken collarbone, and Ata had bruising in the lungs and chest from crashing into the steering wheel. Ata also had a cast on her left hand, but both are recovering well. Noted that the WWE recently made several cuts from creative, including Senior VP of Creative Eddie Feldman. Word is that WWE released between 3 and 5 writers from the creative team as well. In this video, former WWE star Jinder Mahal talked about thinking Dean Ambrose may have been in 3MB before the group was formed. His reaction to the gimmick and an idea that he had to be with Zeb Coulter as a real American and more. Again, that link. The city of Pasadena, California, will be honoring Mick Foley at City Hall in a ceremony that takes place at 5 p.m. local time on Monday. Foley is being honored for helping 11-year-old Abby Spencer and her guests to raise $1 million for leukemia and lymphoma research. Abby will be present at the ceremony with Foley. Foley will be doing a comedy show at the Ice House in Pasadena on Tuesday night. So that's a good reason. Say 2 nights and get that. They might do a little bit of comedy from the show. I haven't heard any reports for it. Mark Henry and The Rock are featured in new episodes of WWE Slam City, available at WWESlamCity.com. Hulkster tweeted the following about tonight's Raw and his birthday celebration. It's beautiful today in Portland, and I can't wait for WWE Raw tonight. I'm so excited. I feel it's my first day in the business. Ends it with a HH. Dolph Ziggler will be joined by his brother Ryan Nemeth and former WWE star John Morrison for some improv comedy this Wednesday night at 10 p.m. at the Second City in Hollywood. WWE superstar David Otunga and his wife Jennifer Hudson set a new Double Dare world record while celebrating their son's birthday at Nickelodeon's Family Double Dare live show this week. And here's the video of that. Or a picture, whichever. I think the video has pictures of it. What have you. Instagram.com/David Otunga. In case you missed it earlier, NXT trainer and announcer Jason Tensai Albert said in his latest video blog that he's retired from in-ring action. Here's what he said. I've actually hung up the boots for in-ring work. I'm living a dream come true now. I've always had a passion of teaching and coaching, and that's what I'm able to do today. And he's in NXT training. It's worth noting that Kofi Kingston is working as a babyface during WWE's current tour of Australia, and Big E flew solo for his loss to Rusev at SmackDown tapings last week. And also in last week's WWE Live events, Big E was teaming with Diego as a babyface. WWE hasn't made a mention of the stable since their appearance with Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods in over a week. And it appears that they have dropped the gimmick. At one point, Mark Henry was even rumored to join. August the 9th marks 15 years since the countdown clock ended, and Chris Jericho made his debut on WWE TV. WWE's latest top 10 video looks at 15 years of Jericho in this video. Also on the WWE website has quotes from new WWE magazine interview with Sheamus. He talks about focusing on his matches and preparing. Every time I step out there, as he's quoted, I just try to get a moment of clarity. I try to clear my mind of everything that's going on and focus on the match at hand. You get nervous before you go out there. I love what I do. I care about what I do. And I want to put on the best performance I possibly can. He also commented on getting nervous. Quote, I think every superstar gets nervous. Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, when you stop getting nervous or stop getting jitterbugs, it's time to quit the business and do something else. And here's a video of Chris Jericho helping two fans get engaged at a live event in Melbourne, Australia. I believe it was over the weekend. It appears that WWE may be going ahead with the push for Heath Slater, as he has now won the last 4 TV matches with Titus O'Neil over Stardust and Goldust on Tuesday night's main event, over Seth Rollins on Monday's Raw, with Titus over Sin Cara and Zack Ryder on the August 1st Superstars, and with Titus over Tyson Kidd and Ryder on the July 29th main event. Slater hasn't even came close to this many WWE TV wins in a row since 2012, when he and Jinder Mahal had 5 straight wins from October 9th through November the 5th. Slater gave the name of Titus and Heath's tag team was trending on Twitter during the main event on last Tuesday night. Kevin Nash talked about going into WWE's Hall of Fame in the near future. Diesel in 2K15 facing Reigns, Savage, and more. And this was posted by Mark Middleton from Lords of Pain. Kevin Nash did a question and answer session after screening of NWO The Revolution at Hollywood Boulevard Cinema in Woodridge, Illinois this past weekend. Below are highlights. The Diesel character will be in the WWE 2K15, and Jay Lethal just finished filming all of Nash's moves and entrance for the game. Jay Lethal, who was under contract with Ring of Honor and not WWE, did some work for 2K15. When asked if he would prefer to be inducted into WWE Hall of Fame as Diesel, he refused and stated he would not be inducted as Diesel. Nash was asked if he would be willing to come back and work a match with Roman Reigns, and he said, "I enjoy walking too much to ever do that." And then touted Reigns as a gifted talent that will make it big in the business. The subject of Randy Savage being inducted into the Hall of Fame came up, and Nash commented said that the reason Savage hasn't already been inducted is yet because of the Poffo family, and that they need to let it happen. Nash also said that the Savage you saw in the ring was the same Savage they all knew outside the ring, and he still can't believe that Savage is no longer with us. Noted before that Hall, Nash, Ric Flair, Jimmy Hart, and Paul Orndorff are booked for celebration with Hogan. There are also some other unexpected supposedly to appear. Joshua Carter sent the following results for Superstars taping from Raw taping in Portland, Oregon. Of course, you know Roddy Piper's going to be there because that's his home state. That was the only name that wasn't mentioned. He's going to be there. Well, match number 1 for Superstars. Emma defeated Alicia Fox by submission. Match number 2, Adam Rose over Fandango by pinfall. And I believe there was a second report that said that Fandango beat Adam Rose. Conflicting reports. Live fan report sent in by Dan Walker attended Monday Night Raw in Portland, Oregon, and sent the following report. Prior to the show, you got the dark matches. CM Punk, there was some CM Punk chants, but when AJ wrestled, they quietened down somewhat. And Mean Gene Okerlund had a hell of a time getting up the steps into the ring. He was nearly on all fours trying to crawl up the steps and nearly tripped over the middle rope getting to the ring, and there was more of the same on his way down out of the ring. And after the TV taping stopped, Vince McMahon made an appearance after the show went off the air, and he came down to the ring and hugged the Hulkster and then left raising his hand without saying a word. And for the actual Raw report, Raw opens up. I believe we got a pre-show in here somewhere. Nope, I took the pre-show out to really cut my time down in that because all they did was nothing but hoopla for SummerSlam. Okay, the live show opened up with a look at presents on the stage for Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. Michael Cole Saw, JBL, and Jerry King Lawler welcomed us to Raw. We go straight to the ring. Out comes Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar for a promo. Heyman introduced himself. "My name is Paul Heyman." And says in 6 days he will be the advocate for the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Brock Lesnar. Heyman cut another promo and said that he said bad things happen to good people when you step in the ring with Lesnar. Heyman shows us stills of Lesnar defeating The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. Heyman talked about Lesnar taking out The Rock and Hogan. Heyman says that Cena fans won't want to miss SummerSlam because after this Sunday, you ain't gonna see Cena around here anymore. Heyman then showed us stills from Lesnar beating on Cena on Extreme Rules 2012. And then he went on to have a wrap of his own about Cena and SummerSlam. That was a funny segment there. Heyman then said, "This is Brock's house, and now," and he's taking the man out of the house out to dinner. He teases Cena and Hogan for later on. And now says hype the WWE Network. They're already heavy with the $9.99 plugs. Still to come, Cena will be here live to respond to Lesnar and Heyman. Also, we celebrate Hogan's birthday. We get a video of rapper Flo Rida wishing Hogan a happy 21st birthday. Weird Al Yankovic also wished Hogan a happy birthday in a video. And we see Roman Reigns backstage warming up. And we go to the commercial. After commercial, we got Roman Reigns versus Ryback and Curtis Axel. Well, we come back and Roman Reigns makes his way out to a pop. He's already in the ring. Kane comes out with his music, interrupts and says he's glad to be back as a director of operations. Kane fumbles his speech and fans laugh at him. He introduces Reigns as opponents, and since he's done that, he has enforced that he will be in a handicap match. And his opponents are Ryback and Curtis Axel. Axel starts things off with Reigns. They're slow to get started, but Reigns applies a headlock. They trade blows, go back and forth. Axel talks trash, and Reigns drops him with a punch. Ryback begs for a tag and gets it. Ryback talks trash to Reigns, and they lock up. Reigns with a headlock. Reigns goes for a shoulder tackle, but Ryback doesn't move. Ryback talks more trash, and Reigns clotheslines him with a headlock. Reigns goes for a shoulder tackle, but Ryback doesn't move. Talks more trash, clotheslines him again. Reigns takes it to the corner, but Ryback turns things around. Ryback with a shoulder thrust. Reigns fights out, hits another clothesline, and Axel distracts Reigns, and Ryback takes control. Reigns counters a suplex with one of his own. We come back after commercial, and Reigns fights off Ryback and Axel. Reigns knocks Axel off the apron, and Ryback through the ropes. He follows, and Axel grabs him from behind. Reigns fights him off, but Ryback hits from behind. Ryback throws Reigns into the ring post. Axel does the same, and referee warns him. They both grab Reigns and throws him into the ring post for the disqualification. So Roman Reigns wins by disqualification. After the bell, they bring Reigns back in the ring. Axel nails a big drop kick to the corner. Ryback follows with a splash. Reigns comes back with a clothesline on Axel and a big shot on Ryback. Axel takes a Samoan drop. Reigns sends Ryback over the top rope. He dodges Axel as he comes to drop him on the bottom rope. Reigns runs around in the ring and hits the apron kick on Axel as he's hanging off the apron. Very similar to Undertaker. When he does his elbow, what he does is the running super kick. That's what I call it. And then rolls back in the ring, and Reigns nails a Superman punch on Ryback and Axel. Fan chant for the spear, and he nails it on Ryback first. Axel gets up next and goes right back down with a spear. Reigns music plays, and we go to replays. Renee Young then interviews Reigns in the middle of the ring about facing Randy Orton at SummerSlam. The crowd is hot, and Reigns asks them if it looks like he's ready for Orton. Reigns admits Orton left him lying 2 weeks ago. Reigns said he's never stolen anything from Orton, but is going to take everything from him on Sunday. Reigns asks what a viper is when it has its teeth knocked down his throat. A worthless little worm. Reigns said it's to believe that, and hits the turnbuckles. And then we see Kane walking backstage. Randy Orton approaches. He says Ryback, Axel, and the Demon himself couldn't get the job done on Reigns, but he will end Reigns at SummerSlam. Kane says the Authority wants to make sure Orton is ready for SummerSlam, so he's facing Sheamus tonight. Kane says it's best for business as Orton walks off. Still to come, Stephanie McMahon has a confession to make to Brie Bella. Also an interview with Michael Cole, Bray Wyatt, and Chris Jericho. But instead, after the break, we get Rob Van Dam versus Seth Rollins. We go straight to the ring. First, Rob Van Dam to a pop. Commercial break. Back from the break, Seth Rollins is making his entrance with his briefcase. Bell rings and they go right at it. RVD with a big kick in the corner and a standing moonsault for 2 count. Rollins turns around in the corner and beats RVD down. Rollins keeps RVD grounded on the mat. RVD comes back with a kick. Rollins rolls to the floor to regroup. RVD kicked him into the barrier. And then RVD dropped Rollins on the top of the barrier. And then RVD goes to the apron to go for the big kick. But Rollins moves out of the way. RVD lands hard on the barrier. We go to a commercial break. Come back and RVD is making another comeback. RVD clotheslines and a scoop slam. Hits Rolling Thunder for a 2 count. RVD kick to the face. Then a split like a moonsault for a 2 count. More back and forth as Rollins takes control and hits the curb stop for the win. After the match, Rollins limps to the stage with his briefcase and keeps watching his back for Dean Ambrose. Rollins is suspicious of a large package in the group of presents for Hogan. He goes to walk away and Ambrose tears through the largest pack. The largest, well, actually it's not the largest, but it's the widest box, I would say, on the stage. He stared at it a couple of times. He didn't think so, just did like that. Turn around. Well, as he's walking off, Ambrose beats him to the ring. They fight out of it. Rollins runs to the crowd for an escape. Ambrose takes the mic to the ring. Crowd pops big for Ambrose. He tells Rollins to run while he still can. While there's no running or hiding in a lumberjack match, Ambrose says Rollins' ass belongs to him in 6 days. Ambrose says for $9.99 he's going to get more than his money's worth. As we go to replays. Then we see Stephanie McMahon walking backstage. Her segment was up next. The announcers plug WWE Slam City and show us a promo for the new episodes. Back from the break, out comes Stephanie McMahon to the ring. This was a copy of the AJ Styles Claire Lynch thing, and the same girl played this part. If you don't believe me, watch the video. This girl came out of Lance Storm's academy, the wrestling training academy, so they just use her. Well, they get a replay of last week's closing segment with Stephanie and Brie Bella. Stephanie says it's always her mission to do what's best for the entire WWE universe. She says sometimes they receive information that could negatively impact the lives of their employees and they're faced with decisions. Then she mentions Daniel Bryan having surgery and rehab. Stephanie brings out the woman that has been helping Bryan, physical therapist Megan Miller. Wrong. We'll see a photo of Megan and Bryan doing PT on the big screen. Megan is in the audience and comes to the ring. By the way, like I said, she is not a therapist at all. And she admits that she's not a therapist. She's been dating and screwing Daniel Bryan behind Brie's back. As Stephanie says, Megan has something to confess. She says Megan is the victim and encourages her to confess what she has to say. Megan says she's gotten to know Brie and Bryan, and they're good people. Megan and her boyfriend had a dinner with them. She's trying hard to get Bryan back in the ring, supposedly. Liar. The crowd gives her the what treatment. Stephanie tells her to go on. Megan says she's ashamed. Her boyfriend left her because of this. She says she can't be Bryan's physical therapist anymore. And Stephanie asks why. She says it all happened so innocently. The woman said that she has been having an affair with Bryan. The same exact act that she did with AJ Styles back in TNA last year. Brie Bella then rushed out and gets in Megan's face. Stephanie eggs them on. Of course, Brie ends up slapping Megan and spearing Stephanie before putting her in the orgasm lock. Yeah, the yes lock. And they were broken up by Triple H himself. And Stephanie gets up and says they're going to finish this tonight. Well, they want to finish it. Still to come segment. Cole's interview with Wyatt and Jericho. Back to commercial. And back from the break. we get a replay of the segment with Daniel Bryan's physical therapist saying that she's having an affair with him. Of course, this segment is not, this inning is not over yet, because there's more in the later part of the show. Jack Swagger versus Cesaro was up next. Come to the ring. Swagger was out first with Zeb Coulter. Cesaro's already waiting in the ring. They lock up. Swagger goes for the leg. They trade holds. Cesaro drops Swagger with a shoulder, but misses the stomp. Swagger comes back and slams Cesaro for a 2 count. Misses the corner. Misses the corner, and Cesaro goes to work. Gets a big gut-wrench suplex, and as fans chant USA, Cesaro works Swagger over in the corner now. Cesaro with a big running uppercut. Cesaro with an abdominal stretch now. Cesaro with more offense and a knee to the spine for a 2 count. Swagger rams Cesaro back into the corner, but runs into a boot. Cesaro comes off the second rope and decks Swagger. Cesaro goes back to the corner, but Swagger catches him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Swagger counters with gets a clothesline. Cesaro comes back and drops Swagger over the top rope. Cesaro knocks Swagger from the apron to the barrier with a kick as we go to commercial break. After the break, Swagger manages to break free. Swagger comes back with a big clothesline and a knee in the corner. Swagger with a big boot. Swagger hits a Swagger bomb for a 2 count. Cesaro with a roll up for a 2. Swagger with shots in the corner. Cesaro with a shot to the throat. And then to the face for a close 2 count. Cesaro with a splash off the second rope for another 2 count. Cesaro tries to superplex Swagger from the apron, but Swagger almost suplexes him out of the ring, out to the floor. Swagger knocks Cesaro into the ring. Cesaro catches Swagger with a big knee to the gut and a running uppercut for another close 2 count as Cesaro stomps on Swagger. But Swagger grabs the ankle for the Patriot lock. Cesaro quickly gets to the ropes. Cesaro with a big shot to the jaw. Cesaro then goes up top, but Swagger runs up and brings him back to the mat. Swagger with a Patriot lock for the win. After the match, Swagger is bleeding in the mouth and stands with the American flag. Zeb cuts a promo and mentions Portland for a pop. Zeb says Swagger will own Rusev at SummerSlam. Well, as he's talking about Real American Surprise, Pyro hits for a Russian flag drop. Down over the ring, out comes Lana Rusev, who is waving in the work. A Russian flag, they have a stare down from the ring, from the ramp and the ring. Just waving the flags to end that segment. Still to come segment, more on Stephanie and Bree, also Orton and Sheamus, and the interview with Wyatt and Jericho. Back to commercial. After the break, we get a plug for Bray Wyatt versus Jericho. We go to Michael Coleslaw sit-down interview with both men. Well, Coleslaw didn't say into this interview as Wyatt tells Cole he can leave and then sends him away. So we get one-on-one. Wyatt asks Jericho if he remembers his dreams from when he was a kid. Wyatt talks about Jericho's father being disappointed in him. Wyatt says Jericho has tried to be a savior but can't save himself. Wyatt says the only thing he lives for is to help people who can't help themselves, but he's not a savior. Bray goes on and says his smile is the last thing Jericho will ever see. Jericho says he's not a savior, but after 15 years of being in WWE, everything he's done, he's become a savior. He says you never know what you're going to do or going to get from Jericho, and there's a lot of sides to him. Jericho then says he can't promise which side Bray will see at SummerSlam, but he promises he follows the buzzards and show them to shove them down Bray's throat. And Jericho closes and says he will be the first person in WWE history to leave Wyatt speechless. Then we get AJ Lee versus Eva Marie. We go to the ring. Out comes Divas champion AJ for a non-title match. Goes to commercial. Back from the break, Eva Marie is waiting in the ring. We get a look back at SmackDown 2 weeks ago where Paige shoved AJ off the stage. They lock up and trade holds. AJ takes Eva down with a headlock. The music hits and out comes Paige. Paige skips down to the ramp to taunt AJ around the ring, and while her music hits, distracting AJ. Eva comes from behind with a roll up for the win, which I didn't even see. Is all I see AJ coming back up standing at the ropes. Paige spoke from the stage after the match. She recited a poem about pushing AJ off the stage, saying AJ has the face she wants to punch. Paige says that she's going to be skipping her way out of SummerSlam with the Divas title. AJ goes out to ringside and grabs Eva, who is trying to get up. AJ slams her face into the floor and the announcer's table. AJ rams Eva into the apron and mounts her with strikes. I guess this is where I saw the match was still going. AJ tossed Eva into the barrier. AJ grabs her title and skips around the ring before heading to the back. We get a look back at Heyman and Lesnar from earlier. Cena is walking backstage as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, out comes World Heavyweight Champion Cena in his new red, white, and yellow gear. Well, not much white, but he's still wearing the khaki tannish shorts. Just red and yellow shirt. Wasn't white on it, I guess. Couldn't really tell the white on it. It's so small you can't even see it. Cena mocked Heyman, introduces himself. Do you know what my name is? Well, he's also commenting, Bully Ray. Introduces himself and says he's to be named and conquered at SummerSlam. This is if you believe Paul Heyman. Cena says Lesnar will get the beating of a lifetime on Sunday. One thing Lesnar will not do is win. He says Cena says to win, Lesnar will have to make him lose. And he's not laying down for Brock Lesnar. Cena says to take that how you want, but he's not laying down. And he says that Brock, because Brock does not deserve to have the title, Cena is saying he's unbeatable because one day he will lose the title, but it's not on Sunday, and he's not going to beat Lesnar. Cena says he doesn't like Lesnar, calls him an arrogant bully, the most selfish SOB to ever walk into a WWE locker room, and every superstar knows that. Cena says Lesnar has an idiotic view of this business. Cena gets a chant going, including a "You Can't Wrestle" chant. Cena asks, when does that stop being about the wristbands and Kmart's shoes? When he does, when does he unleash hell? Cena says he will see a Cena he's not proud of. One we've never seen before at SummerSlam. He says it's necessary to keep the title out of Lesnar's hands. Cena says Lesnar doesn't deserve the title again. He says this isn't Lesnar's house. This house will always belong to the fans. He says this is their house and gets a pop. Cena says if this is Lesnar's house, then a stranger is standing in this living room. And Cena takes off his titles and calls Lesnar to the ring. And Cena trash talks Lesnar as he waits for him to come in the ring. Child's chant for him to come. Well, not appearing. Cena says he's going to make history on Sunday and conquer the conqueror. He will be the one that beats the one. Cena grabs his titles and then yells, this Sunday, the champ is here. Cena poses at the top of the stage with his titles, and that's it for Cena's promo. Announces plug the Cena vs. Lesnar network special. Still to come, Orton versus Sheamus. We get a look back at what happened to Stephanie and Brie earlier, and then we see Brie Bella headed to the ring for a match as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and we get a happy birthday message from Hulk. For Hulkster from Larry King and Florida Georgia Line. And then we get the match. Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. Not going to happen. We got to the ring, out comes Brie Bella. Stephanie McMahon comes out next, and she's not dressed to wrestle. Stephanie says she would have loved to beat Brie tonight, but tonight she's going to have to wait to. They got to wait to SummerSlam after all, as this is if Brie makes it to SummerSlam. We get a replay of the segment with Daniel Bryan's physical therapist. Stephanie says Megan Miller is pressing charges on Brie for assaulting her. Police officers come over and cuff her. Brie gets read her rights and starts crying as Stephanie taunts her. Stephanie says if Brie makes bail, she'll see her at SummerSlam as we go to the commercial. Back from the break, we get a replay of what just happened. Then we get to the next match. Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater. And another win for the Slater Gator fella. We go to the ring. Out comes Dolph Ziggler, Intercontinental Champion. The Miz was out for commentary, and he's standing on the top of the announcer's table again. Heath Slater awaits as they lock up to start. They trade holds, and Slater takes control. Slater gets Ziggler grounded. Ziggler fights up and out. Ziggler nails a drop kick and a big elbow drop for a 2 count. Slater rolls a distracted Ziggler up for a close 2 count. Ziggler takes back control, but misses an elbow drop. Slater drops a knee for another close 2 count. Slater with a headlock. Ziggler fights out but runs into a big kick. Slater with another 2 count. Slater with another headlock. Ziggler fights out and nails a drop kick. Ziggler misses a splash in the corner but blocks a neck breaker. Ziggler had control until the Miz tried to get involved. And then Ziggler runs out of the ring, chases the Miz up the ramp. He grabs him and tosses him into the barrier, and they fight up the ramp. Ziggler runs back in after the count of 10. And gets the loss. Winner by count out, Heath Slater. After the match, fan chant for Slater. Ziggler offers him a handshake, but Slater tries to throw a kick. Ziggler catches him and nails a zigzag. The announcers plug the network some more. Again, how much is it? 9. Again, how much was it? 9. And we see Sheamus and Orton walking backstage, back to commercial. Randy Orton versus Sheamus was up next. Back from commercial break, out comes Randy Orton with the United States Champion. Sheamus was out next for this non-title match. They lock up and go to the corner before breaking. Orton with kicks. Sheamus fights back out of the corner, but Orton comes right back. Sheamus knocks Orton down, coming out of the corner. Orton takes back control to the corner and works over Sheamus. Orton with a pair of clotheslines. Sheamus comes back and slams Orton. Sheamus gets a big knee drop out of the corner for a close 2 count. Sheamus gains control, but Orton got a kick in the gut. Sheamus with another knockdown for a 2 count. Orton went to the apron and Sheamus grabbed him. Of course, that sets up your chops, 10 chops. Orton slides out, retreats to the floor before the 10 chops came. As they go to commercial, back from the break, Orton sent Sheamus into the timekeeper's area during the commercial break. Sheamus might fought back and sent Orton over the top rope. They fight onto the floor again, and Orton backdrops Orton. And Orton backdropped on the announcer's table. Orton posed over. He backdropped Sheamus over onto the announcer's table. Then Orton posed over Sheamus for some booze. Orton brought Sheamus back in the ring for a 2 count. Sheamus starts fighting back gain control with a side slam. Then ran over and ran over Orton and hit a big knee lift. Sheamus with a running knee in the corner and a suplex for a 2 count. Orton blocked a move and slid outside the ring. Thus the Viper style. Sheamus followed out, but Orton hits him. Sheamus slams Orton into the barrier and began back in the ring. Orton countered with a second rope DDT, but Sheamus counters that and hits him for the forearm shots to the chest on the apron as he tried to come back in the ring. Then Sheamus hits a rolling senton for a 2 count. What's he trying to do? Copy RVD? Rolling Thunder? Well, rolling senton. Orton blocked the Irish Curse, backbreaker, and kicked Sheamus in the face. Orton with a backbreaker of his own. Orton with a second rope drape and DDT. Orton posed to another mixed reaction for some wasting time. Sheamus goes to the apron and drops Orton over the top rope. Sheamus comes in with a battering ram and slams Orton for a close 2 count. Orton ducked a brogue kick. Sheamus blocked the RKO. Sheamus goes shoulders first into the corner. Sheamus counters and pulls himself to the top. Sheamus comes off the top with a flying clothesline, but Orton catches him with the RKO for the win. Up next, Hogan's birthday celebration. And they go back to commercial. Back from the break, the WWE roster is already on stage for Hogan's celebration. But before that, we get a special look back at Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at SummerSlam. We go to the ring, and our MC is Mean Gene. As he could barely get in the ring, as you could see, heard in the by the live fan report. He's in the ring with Jimmy Hart, and the ring is done up in red and yellow. With balloons and what have you. Gene introduces Hulkster, and out he comes to a pop. The roster applauds from the stage as Hogan makes his entrance. Gene says, "We're here to celebrate the man Hulk Hogan, and we're going to do it in style." We get a video package on the big screen looking back at Hogan's life and career from childhood until now. Well, didn't see much of a childhood from Hogan. I just seen him from the Rocky movie as his character there. And is Freddie Blassie manager. So I guess they stole some AEWA footage from there. I don't remember Freddie Blassie being Hogan's manager in WWE. Or WWF, whichever. The video was nicely done, and we come back to another applause from the roster and the fans. Hogan looks to be getting emotional as fans chant his name as he's still wearing his shades. Hogan says it was amazing. Hogan says this is the first time he's ever been speechless. Hogan says he can muster up something since we're right here in Portland. Hogan gets another pop and cuts an old school Mean Gene promo. Well, you know Mean Gene, brother. So, Hogan says even Vince McMahon gave him a birthday card. It had some money in it, and guess how much? $9.99. Hogan gets in a couple of network plugs there, and SummerSlam. Don't forget, Evan Bourne also got a $9.99 free network plug in there. He says this has been the greatest day of his life and the best birthday ever. He thanks the crew that worked so hard in the back, the superstars, even Pat Patterson. Hogan thanked the WWE Universe and all of his Hulkamaniacs. Hogan says, when you turn 61, you start to reflect on things. He says Hulkamania is a two-way street, and he hopes he's touched lives just a little bit compared to how the fans have touched his life. Hogan says he loves his Hulkamaniacs and the WWE Universe. Ric Flair's music interrupts, and out he comes to celebrate. The Flair gets a pop and hits the ring. The music hits next, and out comes Mr. Wonderful and his Mr. Wonderful gear. And even he's got a new mustache that's curled up. I think it's the handlebar mustache. One of Hogan's rivals from years ago. Roddy Piper's music interrupts, and out he comes to a big pop. There's your surprise, because that wasn't announced. Well, that's his home state. NWO music interrupts, and out comes Scott Hall, and he says, "Hey, yo," to a big pop. He says the Outsiders are honored to be here to show some love to Hogan on his birthday. He says Hogan looks sweet in the red and yellow. Hall wants to take a little survey. How many people at Raw came to see Hulk in the red and yellow? Or did we like him better in the black and white in the NWO? The NWO gets a bigger pop. Hogan rips off his red and yellow shirt to reveal an NWO black and white t-shirt like Hall and Nash were wearing. Hall says one more for the good guys. Nash says he's done all the things. He's done a lot of things in his career, but one thing he hasn't done is this. Nash turns and leads everyone in singing happy birthday to Hogan. Brock Lesnar's music interrupts. Out he comes to a huge reaction. Lesnar and Heyman march to the ring. As everyone looks on, Lesnar enters the ring, showing no fear. The crowd boos. Lesnar looks at each legend in the ring and comes face to face with Flair and Piper. Hogan steps forward and has a stare down with Lesnar. Heyman asks, what is Hogan going to do? Lesnar says the party is over and calls Hogan Grandpa. John Cena runs down, ready for a fight. Lesnar turns cowardly and leaves the ring. As Cena's getting ready to go at it, Lesnar sets it to the apron, hits to the floor, as the fans boo. Lesnar's music hits as he and Cena stare at each other again. Raw goes off the air with Cena yelling at Lesnar and Lesnar yelling back, and that he's a mercenary. Well, Raw Backstage Pass post-show opened up with Coleslaw informing that Heyman and Lesnar have left the building. John Cena continues Hogan's celebration and calls for some cake. Titus O'Neil and Heath Slater argue while bringing a cake to the ring. As the legends look on, they ruin the cake and start arguing. Cena says that the cake is a toast and calls for a much bigger cake to be brought in the ring by the WWE crew. The large red and yellow cake says happy birthday Hulk Hogan, and the candles are $9.99. Cena plugs the network. Cena leads everyone in singing happy birthday to Hogan again. The roster is still out on the stage. Hogan blows out his candles and Cena tells Hogan to take us home. Hogan gets a pop for champ and the legends follow. Cena out of the ring. Hogan's music hits while the red and yellow confetti drops down from the rafters, causing Michael Cole to giggle, and there's a lot of confetti and balloons dropping as the post-show goes off the air, and that also concludes. But there was no main event dark match, even advertised for the event, or even posted because of the Hogan celebration. Well, that concludes my Raw video for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless. See you one more video. And if you didn't know, you better call me, bro.